So I'm going to ask a very stupid question here. Did anybody do anything this week besides Warcraft?
I did.
No.
Yeah.
I did Christmas shopping online.
I know what your mom's getting for Christmas.
Yeah.
That's not a rude joke. It's true.
Did Bob tell you what he's getting her?
No, I ran into Wendy at Richmond Mall.
Oh, you did?
Oh.
How do you think I know you saw Tron?
That's why I was sitting there going, like, how the hell did he know I saw Tron? I'm like, okay.
Surprised
maybe
she didn't tell you.
She didn't tell me.
Huh.
That answers that question now. I was going to ask you right now, how'd you know I saw Tron?
Yeah, I was at Richmond Mall getting a present for Mary. And I was in Macy's, which I normally stay away from the mall, and I certainly would stay away from a department store. But thing I needed to get, I couldn't get anywhere else. So I was walking through the clothing department to get to the kitchen department, and as I was walking towards the escalator, actually I was finished, as I was walking towards the escalators, I saw Wendy. And I was like, hey, how's it going?
See, I thought you were like telepathic or something. I have no idea. I was like, how the hell did you know I saw Tron?
Yeah. So she was carrying a bunch of clothes, and she's like, what are you doing here? And I said, I'm buying a present for Mary. And she said, I'm buying a present for, you'll have to forgive me, I don't remember your mother's name.
Carol.
She's like, she said, I'm buying stuff for Carol. And I looked at her like, I don't know who that is.
And then she said Chad's mom, right?
She said Chad's mom.
Yeah.
And then she said they're watching Tron. And then I said, well, I have to go. I bought Mary a 5.5 quart cast iron cooking, like crock pot thing. And this thing weighs probably 1,100 pounds. I'm exaggerating, but it's really friggin' heavy. So I'm standing there talking to Wendy, holding this gigantic crock pot thing. So I kind of felt rude, but, you know. Anyway, so that's my little story.
And she forgot to tell me she saw Ivan right there. She's standing right there, and she didn't even mention that Ivan. You saw Ivan. Yes. Okay. Yes, she did see you. You can go now. Bye.
You're dismissed. I'm mad at you because you didn't tell me. So, to answer your question, yesterday I was waiting for Mary to come over, and I didn't want to get into anything Warcraft because I knew if I did, I wouldn't want to stop playing. And she was coming over, and we were going to have dinner and watch a movie. So I'm sitting there, and I had remembered, I got an email or something I had heard about PopCap released Bejeweled 3.
Okay.
So I played a little Bejeweled 3.
Okay, so let's hang out for a second. Let's put a proper beginning on the show. Welcome to the Video Game Show, episode number 225. Here we got some Phil.
Yo.
And Ivan.
Yo.
And I'm Chad. So, Ivan, you played Bejeweled 3. For what platform?
I bought it through Steam for the Mac.
For the Mac. Okay. I'm sure it's the same across all platforms, so...
Yeah, I'm sure.
Maybe iPhone's a little different.
Actually, I looked because I figured it would be great to play on the iPad, and I don't think they released it for the iOS yet.
Oh, okay. Because I remember, I thought it was coming out, but obviously not now.
It may have, but actually when I checked, it was last week maybe, when I had heard about it. Anyway, so I didn't play it a lot, so I can't really talk a whole lot about it. The one thing I did play, which I know is new, is they have like a quest mode. And quest mode requires you to play Bejeweled and fulfill certain objectives while you're playing. So I was kind of like, how do you... Bejeweled 2 was just prettier. It looked better. And I'm like, how do you make another Bejeweled and have it actually be different? And this is one of the ways they did it. So in quest mode, you have artifacts, and each artifact is surrounded by 6 or 8 objective quest things that you have to do. And you have to do, I think, at least the first couple, you need to do 4 in order to complete the artifact. And essentially all that means is you've completed that one, you can move on to the next one. And the quests that I played, they're really fun. So one of them is, my favorite one is called like Bejeweled Poker. And essentially what you do is there's nothing different to the gameplay. It's all still match 3 gems in a grid, and when you match them, they drop. And if other matches happen to drop when you make a match, they chain together. So all that's still the same. But these objectives obviously are different. So poker is, if you match 3, say, blue gems, then that adds a blue card to your hand, and obviously you need 5 cards to make a poker hand. So you match 3 blue ones, you get a blue card. You match 3 orange ones, you get an orange card. And you have to get, at least in the first one, you have to get 3,000 points, and you get different numbers of points for different poker hands. So if you get 3 blues and 2 orange matches, so you get 3 blues and 2 orange cards, and you have a full house. And you can get full houses and obviously 1 pair, 2 pair, 4 of a kind, that kind of stuff. So that's one quest complete. And then the other ones are a little more intense. Stuff like matching 130 gems in a certain amount of time, or there's like an ice mode where these ice things are flowing from the bottom of the screen to the top, and you have to match them to make them drop back down to the bottom. If they reach the top, you lose. There's a butterfly mode thing where each gem is replaced by a little butterfly, and you have to match 2 gems with a butterfly of that color to save the butterfly. And you have to do that before they get to the top, because there's a spider walking back and forth across the top, stopping it at certain columns, waiting for butterflies to come. And if they reach the top, the spider eats the butterfly, and then you lose. So there's I could explain all the other modes, but they're all pretty similar. They're all, you need to complete this quest objective type thing, usually in a time limit. Like poker doesn't have a time limit, because you just sit there and you make matches. To win that quest, and you have to do, so far I've only done the first 2 artifact things. You have to complete 4 quests out of 6 or 8 different options to win the artifact.
Okay, I guess here's the question. Are all these new modes fun? Do they add to it, or is it just still tacked on?
I like Bejeweled, but Bejeweled gets very boring after a while. That's why I like Bejeweled Twist, or whatever it's called.
Blitz,
because it's always just like in 30-second intervals. You have 30 seconds to 30 seconds or a minute or whatever to finish a board, and then it winds up just being how many points can you get. Because like I think I've Bejeweled for Xbox, because Mary was looking for something casual to play, and it gets boring. It's certainly a interesting way to play Bejeweled. It gives you a purpose other than to just match gems ad nauseum until you get bored.
But something like Puzzle Quest added a whole thing on top of Bejeweled.
It did, and that's why Puzzle Quest was really good.
Do you recommend buying this kind of thing if you have something like Puzzle Quest sitting out there, which adds that whole kind of quest mechanic on top of it?
Puzzle Quest is much, much better. If you're looking for a match 3 game, it's kind of hard to recommend anything outside of Puzzle Quest if you're like us. Now, somebody like Mary, or somebody who's super into casual stuff, like Jill or somebody, would probably wouldn't care for Puzzle Quest, because it's very RPG-y, by design, and Mary wouldn't like that. Now, she may very much like Bejeweled instead, because it's still just Bejeweled. There's not a whole lot of investment, but it adds a different layer, something to do other than just match gems. Now, the only reason I might not recommend it is because I think it's $20.
That's kind of steep for Bejeweled.
Well, yeah. There's a lot. There's quest mode. There's a couple other modes that I didn't get into. I know there's classic mode, which is just straight up Bejeweled.
Did they add any kind of multiplayer mode, or is it still just all single player straight up?
That I wouldn't know. I didn't even bother looking.
I don't know what kind of multiplayer mode you can add besides what Puzzle Quest did, but just wondering if they put anything on.
So I know there's at least 4 modes to begin with. Classic and Quest are 2 of them. I don't remember what the other ones are. Probably like a timed mode. When you complete at least a portion of one mode, I know it unlocks like sub-mode kind of things. Because I know that when I played, finished a couple quest mode things, they're unlocked like a diamond, is called Diamond Hunter, Diamond Digger, I don't know, something like that. So it was kind of a sub-mode of one of the modes that you had to play. So I'll explain another one of them just because this one is related. There's one called like Gold Miner or something like that, and buried within the level are pieces of gold that you have to match 3 gems to at the bottom of the level to clear out some dirt kind of thing. And then when you do that, you get these pieces of gold. And then one of the little sub-mode things is essentially the same thing, but you're unlocking diamonds, or digging for diamonds kind of thing. So, anyway. Like I said, it's more fun than Bejeweled because there's actually stuff to do. It gives the game a reason to play other than just match 3 gems the whole time. Yeah, if it comes out for iPhone, iPad, it'll probably be cheaper than $20.
Oh yeah.
And might be a little bit. It won't be better necessarily, but it'd be nice to have like an iPad version.
Okay, sounds good. And since we kind of covered Warcraft ad nauseum last week,
yeah, I mean, I don't even really have a whole lot else to say. Not much. I haven't really done much else other than some more heroic dungeons. We tried a raid for the first time last week, and I've just been really working on like professions and stuff, getting my professions leveled up.
I think the only thing that really could be added that we didn't cover last time that I was thinking about was the fact that it seems like between the 2 zones, the Uldum and the Twilight Zone, there's a ton of cutscenes, like in-game live action cutscenes. Like you finish a quest and then it goes to a cutscene and it shows you something happening, and then you complete the quest. It seems to be doing that quite a bit.
Does it add a lot to the game, the cutscenes they put in, or is it just stuff that looks cool?
For somebody like Chris, no, because he hates cutscenes. For people who actually enjoy doing the quests, not for any other reason other than leveling, if you're actually doing the quests because you're enjoying the quests, the story, then yeah, it does kind of add something. They're not real long. They're less than 30 seconds long, usually like 10 or 15 seconds at the most. And basically it's a little bit better instead of watching in-game guys talk to each other. The worst is when in-game people talk to each other, but they didn't bother doing voice acting, so you're just reading chat bubbles. Because I never read that. I mean, I don't... the cutscenes I don't mind. The talking I don't mind as much unless it's really long. There's an infamous cutscene kind of thing in the last raid in Wrath before Cataclysm came out called Icecrown Citadel, and there's one fight, Deathbringer Saurfang, and it's literally a minute and a half of 2 NPCs talking to each other before the fight begins, and it is brutal. When you've got 25 people all sitting there waiting to fight a boss, and you have to wait for a minute and a half to listen to these 2 guys bicker, and the worst part is it happens every time. So if you fight them and you happen to lose and you have to resurrect and come back, you have to listen to the same talk for a minute and a half again, and it's just awful. It's really awful.
Yeah, I got to the point where I got to one cutscene which involves Deathwing, so that was pretty cool. It adds a little bit of story to the background. So yeah, there was some of them are good, some of them are a little boring, but it seems like the most inconvenient of times. You don't expect it, and then there's a cutscene that pops up. But like I said, some of it's good.
Okay, then. I think we can probably call it here unless you have something else you'd like to add.
I don't really have anything. Like I said, it's mainly been Warcraft. On a whim, I bought Bejeweled 3 yesterday just because I was interested in it, and I needed to kill about half an hour worth of time before Mary came over. So,
Has anybody asked for any video games for Christmas since Christmas is this week?
I have not, actually.
Me not, because I'm mainly doing board games now with Wendy, so...
Yeah, I kind of would prefer to get a couple board games than some video games at this point, myself.
Well, you guys are both Warcraft heavy right now, so...
Yeah, that's very true.
By the time a new game comes out, it'll probably be cheap by the time you guys have time to play.
I was going to say that, yeah, Warcraft's got enough. It's so new that it's got enough to keep us busy for quite some time.
Yeah. Okay, then.
Well, Merry Christmas, everybody.